not finished as in finished, but just finished for today. And these YouTube videos and Facebook videos and stuff have more been a diary for me over the years. So I thought I would literally talk about something while on the way home. And one thing that also the doctors just said, and the way that the system works is ruining my healing. They've caused the trauma, and it's not in line with healing. And I've been trying to say this for years, that say like the whole multi-agency framework, yeah, the whole point of it is to assess what the problem is and move to the solution. But what I've always said through the court systems is they assess a problem or make up a problem, and they don't move through to a solution, or they just put plasters on things. So one thing I've just been talking to my chiropractor about is about the whole holistic side of it. That, you know, even though he can crack particular points of my body back in, that they will only stay in if all the other structures of the body are working. But what was really nice today about, seriously, people just look at my socks, it's really funny. What was really nice about today was to be able to actually go over and acknowledge the particular muscles, the particular structures, the particular points in the body, so you have a greater understanding of it. Like this morning, yeah, I am in what I call out of it, you know. This is where my soul, my body and my heart and everything just doesn't work in a line, because my body is all like, ow, knees are not in, hips aren't in, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, anyway, it's nice to be believed. It's nice to actually go and see somebody that is working with me with the actual problems that I actually have, rather than having people constantly gaslight me or make me feel. You can't make somebody feel, but you can make somebody feel. You can put people in a point of view where you end up in what's called cognitive dissonance, because you believe one thing and somebody's trying to tell you something else. Like, obviously, at the moment, most parents are getting ready to start preparing their children to go back to school, and we're not. And people will have a certain belief system and a certain understanding of the world, and then that, you know, then that projection on me makes things really, really, really difficult. That's grandmother taking grandchildren out while parents obviously working and getting stuff done. But I've never had any of this. I've never had this. And I was just explaining to the chiropractor that the only times I have ever had any form of medical intervention has been when I've been pregnant. And when I'm pregnant, they go, oh, have you got any diagnosis? And I say, yeah, hypermobility, EDS. And they go, oh, you know, are you aware of this complication? And it's like, yes, I am. And then it's a case of, right, let's go and see the physio, get given a physio sheet of exercises to do, and told to bounce on a ball for a bit. And that's not good enough, because the challenge with any person is the person who's just diagnosed you understands the physiology, the neurons, how the whole nervous system works, how your body works. And they're telling somebody who doesn't. Yeah? So they're telling somebody who doesn't. And then you're expected to go to a physio who just hands you a piece of paper that says, go and do those exercises. It's not. Healing is a way of life. And I can't get people around me to understand this, because they don't live that way. Like, even the gym. There's people that go to the gym and there's people that don't. And them people are very, very, very different people. They're very different characters. They've got a very different psychology. The people that get up and go straight into work, go straight into somebody's life, they have a very, very different mindset than somebody that gets up to put their life in order that day. I find life with Dean very, 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 very difficult because I don't have these little routines that I have. And obviously we met in a position where I didn't have them. I had already given up training in the morning because I was put in Save the Family and I was put in a flat. And for me, that was a massive, big adjustment to go from being in a house where I can go downstairs in the morning, turn on a juicer that goes and makes shitloads of noise, and do my training, including rebounding and bouncing. But when you then move in and you're in a flat and you try to be respectful for the neighbours underneath, it's a bit difficult. So anyway, I'm just having a brisk walk through the park this morning. It's very beautiful. It's very nice. And then I'm going to go home and start preparing me and the boys into a new routine. Obviously, the geoengineering is very much at play at the moment. But if you mention geoengineering, then you will get called up for medical disinformation. I'm very angry. I'm very annoyed. Obviously, it's been a month of, 1, being able to prove I was telling the truth over my body. 2, being able to prove that geoengineering was very much happening. 3, being able to prove that Facebook was deliberately targeting my account. And I think this is the real next thing, because I've had videos taken, photos taken, accounts taken, the opportunity to monetize taken, and then that's caused disturbance. And what I'm really trying to get to in my little waffle and my little not so much rant is that people have believed things about me for so long and have treated me accordingly, that's going to be very, very, very difficult for people to then go, like, I have rants at this particular point in my life to go, do you know what? Not one of you has ever told anybody the truth about me. Not one of you, not one of my parents, not anybody within the system, be it social workers or police. They all share disinformation on me. Not one of them has ever turned around and gone, we have a mother who has a diagnosis of hypermobility EDS, which means that her body results in subluxations. That means that my joints come out of place, and dislocations. But nobody has ever helped me understand how I relocate my joints, other than watching Mel Gibson on some film where he bangs his shoulder up against a wall and goes, ah. I've never been taught how to relocate a joint. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I'm not a medic of any way, shape or form. So even when you've got a child, if your child's sitting there and they've got a subluxed joint, how are you meant to fucking know? And if you go into hospital, and as people with hypermobility have always told you, and specialists will always tell you, is that these normal x-rays don't work. So at the end of the day, if I'm walking across here and all of a sudden my ankle or my knee or something goes, there's a reaction to that pain. And someone like me has lived with pain so much that I just walk through it. And then people go, but there's nothing wrong with you then. And then people then go, well, what's up with you? Take, for example, I'm nearly home, beautiful little field just walking through. This is Milton Park. It has a community centre there where we have some of our home-ed projects in there. Park, skate park, tennis park, benches. But I don't like to get people around, so you just see my ugly mug. I have no permission whatsoever to take videos of the people around me, and nor do I feel that I have the right to. But you've got a dad blowing bubbles with his daughter running around. The lady out ready to do her strutting and her walking. So anyway, my point being, it was nice to see the chiropractor while all my veins were up. So that basically meant all my veins on the back of my hands and my feet were all up, and they hadn't yet gone into what I call click them. So it is looking like it's vascular, and we'll take it from there. In fact, what that does is makes me more determined to get back to my bucket list, because that means that the valves in my heart could go. So anyway, I live with a hidden condition. People can't see it. I don't get up to work like the same people that you all do. Yes, my rent is paid. Yes, I get council tax thing. And yes, I get money in my hand to get on with my life. Paid to fuck off, basically. Paid to just be unemployable, so they say. So anyway, I made a decision that I couldn't live like that back in 2010. I am going to be taking the year for the rehabilitation, but in this time I am going to be building something around my spine that means any person with an injury will have this plan around them, because I'm sick and tired of mums being neglected. Even dads, you know, the amount of dads that I know that don't have time to stop because they've got to get back up and go to work on Monday. But I see so many mums that have to just carry on. And it's not until things are really terminal and really serious and somebody's like on death's door do people start having some form of sympathy or understanding or preparation. But when people are alive, you know, I hope my mum gets to the point where she reads them scans. Them scans have gone to Dean's mum as well. And I hope people stop chatting shit. I hope people stop talking about how ratty I can sometimes get, how narky sometimes I can get, and actually start talking about the pain that I'm in and how people deal with pain. What is the poppy? The opiate. It's a painkiller. And then people get called drug addicts. Well, I just said to my doctor that I'm really scared about going into the doctors to let them know that I was telling the truth, because their only solution would be to put me on tramadol or morphine. And I don't want to live that way. So anyway, I've seen the chiropractor this morning. I don't feel like I've had enough clickety click click clicks. He doesn't crack me sort of in the same way Andrew does, but I think this slow, steady way may be better, obviously, in the long run. He's got the x-rays, he knows what he's doing. He does realise the difference than this thing bouncing out in and out in the back of my neck. And I start paddling this up now to go to the medical people and start explaining the consequences of living with this condition. My doctor said something great. It took you all these years to get into this mess. It's not going to happen overnight to get you out of it. And that's talking about my back, my spine and my neck. That's not even talking about my hands that are holding the phone that you know, still trying to come down. I still don't have proper movement in my hand because obviously I was holding the phone. And people don't see this. People don't see this side. They just see the skater. They don't even realise how much that's a challenge to me. Like, really? Dancing's my freedom. But anyway, I've given up on a lot of my hopes and dreams. Being able to prove I was telling the truth all this time has just put me into an anger battle, and that's okay. And I'm going to go and find someone to talk to about it. But it will be somebody who understands people with conditions. There's no point me talking to a psychotherapist or a psychologist that does not accept that I have a physical condition. And there's people that are trained to work with people with physical conditions. It's not the same. It's not the same. And you can talk about mental health until the cows come home. Yeah, people have a battle between what it is that they dream of doing and what reality that they are able to do, whether it's physically or whether it's mentally or whether they just believe they can do it. It's all about hopes and dreams, isn't it? So anyway, my legs are very tired this morning. I feel like I've been on a treadmill for 100 days. I will get back into a gym. But ideally, I just want the equipment at home and to train with somebody at home. But I'm not there yet. And I'm not. And you can't have a go at me for not being somewhere yet because I'm not ready. And I'm not. I'm not. I murder people. I still would. That would be like asking me to face the people that have done this right now. I'm not ready to. I don't even know if I can cross. Yeah, I can. I'm not ready to. I'm not ready to. In terms of Aaron and Faith, I don't know how this is going to work. I got little policemen's out this morning. They shooting off quick. Quick. You know, off out doing the rounds, making sure our city's all right. And that's another thing. Security out now, making sure our city's all good in the hood. Everybody's safe. You know, no children being trafficked, no paedophiles, you know, holding children at ransom. No geoengineering going on, keeping us in the cloud things, is there? No corruption going on today, people. No corruption. Keep your eyes closed, keep your ears closed, and keep your mouth shut. And don't talk about all the money laundering going on. Don't talk about all the people that are not being listened to, because you're nothing more than a cash cow, really, for the state. And unless you're taking their medication, unless they can pump you through pills, you're not really worth anything to these people. So unless there's something that I'm going to go and do for the council that's going to put the council on the map, they don't care. And I don't care to be that sort of person for them. Do you know that? So anyway, today is the day that he's not back to school. It's the 3rd today. I always said there's set days all the way through September that I readdress her. Believe it or not, I know it might try to show you that it's autumn, but believe it or not, it's not autumn until the 27th of September. So anyway, I'm home. I'm still very achy, but I'm so glad that I've now been able to sort of show a bit more the difference in what I'm like in the morning to later in the morning, and hopefully start to get people to understand that there's a consequence going on in there in the boy's body. When I speak to Aaron and Faith, we'll finally find out how they've got on. Liam and Daniel, I know they get backaches. I know they have bowel problems. So yeah, all I can say is it's nice to finally be believed, but there's more people still spreading shit and lying about me than there are people going, wow, okay, so she really has had this problem this whole time. She was telling the truth. So anyway, welcome to my little abode.